I was looking forward to talking about Tank and Leo and all that, so I figured I would just start off with that because it was just what a thriller of a fight, man. For as long as it lasted. If you didn't get to see the fight, Tank Davis stopped Leo Santa Cruz in the 6th round, and the first 2 rounds, Leo was boxing really well and was hitting Tank pretty clean. He was throwing some nice combinations, and as the rounds wore on, Tank started figuring some things out. Sometimes he would box, sometimes he would come forward with his gloves high. And as the rounds started to build, he started throwing these hard body shots. And the more he would throw the body shots, the more Leo sort of started staying in place with him. And by the 4th round, they were basically trading punches in the middle of the ring, which I think maybe Leo got a little too comfortable doing that because he was landing. If you look at the stats for the fight, Leo actually landed more punches than Tank. So I think he just got a little too tangled up in maybe he just got too comfortable in the pocket. He got too comfortable in the pocket trading with Tank because he knew he could hit him. And the reality is, for him to beat Tank, he was going to have to fight a little bit more like he fought in the second Frampton fight, where he was more of an outside, keeping his punches long combinations fighter. But Tank, 4th, 5th round, really bullied his way inside, and they were trading punches. And in the 6th round, it was a brutal round. Leo was hitting Tank with all kinds of shit, and Tank just was relentless with his pressure. He kept coming forward. He kept pressing the fight. Sometimes he would do the Mayweather where he's here with the Philly shell. Sometimes he'd be up here with the gloves high and be moving his head. But he was on the attack, and, Leo was game for it. But when he caught Leo with that uppercut in the 6th round and laid him out, I was just like, holy shit, dude. I don't even remember ever seeing Leo Santa Cruz get buzzed before this fight that I can remember. I mean, I'm sure it's happened in his career, but in the many fights of his that I've seen, I don't even remember him getting buzzed. And just to see him laid out cold like that, I was worried about him. He's one of my favorite fighters. I've been watching him for a long time. He's a lot of fun. And, like everyone else in there, including Tank, I was just hoping he was okay. It was a real display of heart and courage, like how he fought the fight. I wish he had been a little smarter maybe, but there may not have been that there against this opponent. You know what I mean? So maybe he was making do with what he had. It was crazy to see his pops get into the ring with him, get out of the wheelchair and walk up onto the apron. Very inspiring. I saw that, that Tank did a post on some social media about them, and that him and his pops are the real heroes. It was great seeing the respect between these two fighters. And the undercard was a little soft, but I would say overall, mission accomplished on this event. The only thing I'll say about this fight is, there was like 9 or 10,000 people at this fight. And I know that people want to have crowds back. I know that I want it too. Everybody wants to have crowds back at the fights. It's a part of the event. It's a part of the, the ambiance and the excitement and the tension. But there's a lot of promoters and commissions and fighters working really, really hard to keep this sport safe for everybody involved. And, in the height of this fucking pandemic, the idea that we would have 10,000 people sitting near each other for a boxing match seems ridiculous to me. I mean, I know it's, as a business move, that's what you want to do. But you also have to consider people's safety. And, to my knowledge, people were not tested to get into the fight. I hope that they were. But I'm not aware that the audience was tested. So, there's a lot of variables there, and there's not really any other promoters doing audiences on that level yet. You look at the cards on DAZN, you look at the ESPN bubble, everything that Eddie Hearn is putting together, everything that Queensberry is putting together, the Frank Warren Company. These are all bubble scenarios. Even the Fox, PBC fights are all bubble scenarios with no audience. And the reason to do that is because we want to keep the sport safe, because if the sport becomes unsafe, these kind of events will not be allowed to go on. The states will shut them down, or or the commissions will say that we don't sanction these fights. So we just want to make sure that we're not, this is just my opinion, but we want to make sure we're not fucking doing anything prematurely in the height of a pandemic that could endanger the sport for everybody that's trying to make money in the sport. I know that the pot is a little smaller right now, but if you take up all the pot and there's nothing left for everybody else, then there's no fucking, you know what I'm saying? There's no sport. So, I just hope that in the future, and maybe this was more well thought through than I'm giving it credit. I know all the fighters and everything were tested and they were in a bubble, but I don't know. Seems a little early to me.